Well, students, we're gonna work on these seascapes today. And the first thing is that you're gonna take this paper and we're gonna tear it into 4 pieces. So here, what I like to do is I like to make one little tear right there, one here. So it's like one in the middle, one in between that, and then one right here. So that I'm really just splitting the paper, and then I'm gonna start, so I've got, even though I'm tearing it into 4 pieces, I only have 1, 2, 3 marks. I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna hold it carefully so that I can tear it from one side to the other side. Now I have 1 piece, then I'm gonna tear this one, and you can tear it up and down to make it look more wavy if you wanted to. And then I'm gonna tear my last one. So tear it carefully, take your time, and then you can see that I did tear it in the same direction as the waves too. So once you tear it, I want to organize it, and then you can see that I'm always gonna keep these white edges on the top. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna line them up. This one's gonna be my top one. So I'm just gonna overlap them, keeping this white curve on the top. So it looks like the waves are crashing. And I'm gonna stack them from the biggest, from the top to the bottom. So these are papers number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is number 1, that's the first one. The top one gets glued down first. So I'm gonna take these 3 off, and let's just move this over slightly. And I'm gonna glue this. I wanna glue it really well. So I'm gonna move it over a little more maybe so that you can definitely see it. Glue the middle, and then I want you to glue the sides. Glue them more than once. So you can see I went around it 2 times. Then I'm gonna pick it up and I'm gonna lay it down here. The horizon line is gonna be pretty high on the page, so you can see this is higher than halfway up the paper. Even move it up a little higher than that. So here, take that, push it down, and I'm gonna flip it over, and I'm gonna rub my hand on the back so I don't end up smearing the paint or getting paint on the top of my hand. So then I'll flip it back over. Now I've got papers. So this was 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I do paper 2. So I take these off, move those over. Then we're gonna take this one, and I'm gonna glue this one, glue my middle, but I'm gonna glue the edges at least twice. So go around the sides, that was once, here is 2 times. Then I'm gonna take it, and I'm gonna make it, you can see right now I flipped it over. So I'm gonna turn it so then the white edge is on the top. You can see I'm not gonna leave space between it. I'm gonna make sure to overlap it or go above it a little bit. Then we'll do the same thing, flip it over, rub your hand on the back. Then we'll flip it back over. We'll take these that are left that I've been stacking, so keeping them together. I've got 1 and 2 is glued, so now I've got to do 3, so I'll set this one aside. Let's move this one over. If this starts to get pretty sticky, you can always get another, like I might move this over and start putting glue over here so I don't get glue all over the top of my painted paper. Glue the middle and glue my edges. You can also see that I'm only turning my glue up a little bit as I go. So I only have a little bit up. I'm gonna take this, we'll slide this over, keep the white edge up. If you don't glue things well, I'm just gonna ask you to go back and glue it again. So flip it over, press that down good. Then this is my last piece. So you can see I did get some glue on the top. So glue the middle. And do my sides. Line this up. I've left some space along the bottom here for some sand. So let's flip this over, press that down. So here, as you're working on that to get this glued down, I will pass out one of these. This is gonna be the sand, so I need to tear this too. You can see that I'm gonna just tear it just to get some off the top. I don't want to tear a bunch off of here. So please use the bigger piece. I almost tore a little bit too much off of it, so you don't want to tear too much off. And then we'll glue this one too. Switch this over just a little bit. Glue the middle. And glue my edges. If you get done gluing things and you notice that there are any edges that are not sticking very well, you can always put a little bit more glue underneath. So I'm gonna take this, press this, line that up so you don't want it to be crooked or hanging off the bottom. So I'm doing my best to just line up this edge and press that down, okay? You can also, flip it over again and press it. Once you have all of this done, I'm gonna just check my edges. Like if there's not enough glue under here, just flip it back and put a little more glue under there to make sure everything presses down. Press that down good. Okay, now I'm gonna work on my sky. We're gonna do a lot more next week, so the main thing is really getting your water and your sand. Now I'm gonna do my sky. You don't need to draw this out with pencil, but I would like you to cut out a circle shape. Once you have that done, you can decide where you're gonna want it. I'm gonna give you a small white piece of paper, and we can take this, and let me move that down a little bit, and I can cut out a few clouds. You can see I'm just cutting like a curved line, and then set those down. And probably two, I don't know, 3 or 4 would probably be enough. I'll just do 3 on this one. So I would never, ever, ever put glue on the blue paper. So I would never put glue here. Always put the glue on the piece that you're trying to stick down. So here I'm gonna glue the edges. I'm gonna set this up here. I like getting my sun on here first because then the clouds could overlap it, go over those edges a little bit. I think that looks nice. You can have some of your clouds being lower, some of them being higher. Just kind of fill out this space. If you have extra time, you can take some of this paper, and I can take this and I can cut some triangle shapes off of this circle to make some rays for the sun. That's extra. So it's nice that they're already kind of around this, so I know how many, or how that curved line is gonna be. Just gonna cut them from the edge, and then we'll start gluing them down. So I cut kind of a lot of them, but set those down, glue those, and put these around the edges of your sun. Try your best to not let your fingers get too sticky, because then it makes it a little bit tricky to work. I'm trying also not to let this yellow get on top of my water. So keep your sun kind of high. You can see this one's almost touching the water there. So try to keep your sun higher in the sky, and then if you do this part, they won't end up touching the water. So. And I wouldn't want them to be on top of the clouds either. So like this one that I glue, you can see that I would put it in this space, so it's not on the cloud. And it looks like I need just a couple more. And then next time we'll keep working on them. Maybe one, I don't know, maybe one or two more. So here, we got that one, and so here, I'm still working. I'm gonna glue that one down. We'll do this one. And then this is my last one. Okay. So now, one last one. So let's have fun working on these seascapes. And we'll also need to make sure that we get our names on the back. But you can always flip it over, rub your hand on the back to get these to press down well.